Everybody's got a price for the $1 Million Man.
Who's that kid? Nick. He looks like Beaker from Muppets.
The one on FS1, Nick Wright.
Yep. Yeah. I got something.
That's amazing. I did not even. I love that.
If I get 5 women and they're all in the same room with me, we're going at it at 110%.
Welcome in, everybody. It's the Lazy Booking Podcast on A2D Radio. Big week this week in professional wrestling. We have a lot to talk about, including the return after 10 years of AJ Lee to the WWE, John Cena's final SmackDown appearance, and other highlights from Raw and Smackdown. And happy to be joined again by my co-host, Eric the Archer. Archer, what's up, brother?
What's going on, Chrome? Hope all is well. Yes, another week where we don't have anything to talk about. So let's get going.
Yeah, absolutely nothing. It's another week where we just kind of sit here and twiddle our thumbs.
Yep.
No, lots to talk about. Really exciting week. We're going to cram it in the next 45-ish minutes or so. But we got to show some love to our show sponsor and the sponsor of our opening topic. It's Specialized Physical Therapy. Our doctor, Dr. Paul Vidal, and his award-winning team can be found in Burlington and Cherry Hill, New Jersey at their physical locations. You can check them out at the web, specializedphysicaltherapy.com. Any aches, pains, any kind of long-lasting physical ailments and issues, contact this team. Let them check you out, put you on a program, and start heading you back to a better quality of life. So check them out at specializedphysicaltherapy.com. As we said at the top here, Eric, AJ Lee returns to WWE. Highly anticipated, much asked for over the years. And it's finally here. So with that, our opening topic is our agree to disagree. WWE teasing AJ Lee's return after 10 years was a smart booking decision. Agree or disagree? Anybody who's watching us live on X/Twitter, Facebook, or YouTube, please chime in, like, subscribe, follow, share this video out, and we want to hear your comments today on what turned out to be, I think, one of the biggest returns we've seen in a long time, even with it being in Chicago, and we know that that's a favorable crowd. But Eric, dive in here for me, buddy. Kick us off. There's been a lot of conversation. Did WWE miss an opportunity to surprise here? We know they can do it. They did it with Brock. They've been able to do a lot of that stuff actually lately, in a time where it seems like it's very difficult to tie up the loose ends and make sure that nobody's whispering in the ears of the dirt sheets. But what do you think here, Eric? Was this smart? Did they kind of tease the obvious and gave us the obvious?
I'll tell you what, and I'm really glad she's back. She was definitely a favorite of mine. Those that are not familiar, she multiple-time Divas champion and the wife of CM Punk. And she did a lot during her short tenure with the WWE. She was a multi-time Divas champion. She was the general manager of Raw at one point. She had a nice little storyline, love triangle with Punk. Ironically enough, Cena, Dolph Ziggler, a lot of those guys, Daniel Bryan. There was a wedding. There was a lot of good highlights. And I think
what was it? How many seconds that he lost the title at WrestleMania 28?
Was it 8 seconds? Something like that. 8 or 9 seconds.
Got kicked in the face. Yeah.
Kisses her on the apron in the opening match and gets a nice sweet bro kick to the kisser for the 1, 2, 3. So yeah. Definitely had an impact, and I will say, to answer the question, I agree that it was smart, and I think it was kind of like one of those obvious things that was going to happen anyway. So why not just go into it? I saw some people saying, "Oh well," I don't know if you saw this, but WWE Shop, I guess, teased it where someone was looking for AJ Lee swag to wear to the show in Chicago, and somebody's like, "Oh well, we someone from WWE Shop said, "Oh, we plan to have that soon for AJ Lee," and named her specifically. So, right there, the cat's out of the bag. But I mean, if you're following along the story, you kind of knew this was going to happen. It's kind of the husband and wife duo of Seth Rollins and Becky Lynch, and I know they were teasing a little bit of Rhea Ripley and other. I don't think there might have been any Bailey as another potential person, but I think this was something that was obvious, but in a good way, where there was a lot of anticipation. I think them teasing it got a lot more eyeballs on Friday night. So for those that aren't watching the product and know who she is from watching it back 10 years ago, it got them to watch. And clearly it worked, because not only did they watch on SmackDown, but if you look at YouTube, there was I think one of them had over 4 million views of her return. So it clearly worked. And I think in this instance, it was smart to get more eyeballs on it, because you kind of knew if you were following along. I mean, it wouldn't make sense for somebody else to come back, because they're not the real life spouse of CM Punk. So it had to make sense, and it was obvious what was going to happen. But I think it was executed perfectly, and they did a really nice job. And to your point about Chicago, Milwaukee last night. Huge pop for AJ Lee once again, and that segment. So clearly it worked, and people are ready for the ride they're going on this story to culminate at Wrestlepalooza. Oh, you're on mute. There you go.
Being anticipatory in case these little rugrats around here start barking. Yeah, full disclosure, we actually didn't think we were going to get a show in this week, and some scheduling things. Unfortunately, our hockey guys were not able to go on tonight. So if any of you guys are sitting back and waiting for the hockey show tonight, FYI, Firestalk A2D is not on programming alert for A2D Radio, but they will be back, I believe, next week, their regular scheduled time. So it did open up for us to push back a late start time, and we were able to get a show in. So, and thank God, what a week. But anyway. Yes, I agree to the poll question wholeheartedly. We talked about, it is an era where it's really hard to create surprises. I think in this instance, it actually benefited them to do the tease, because when CM Punk joined AEW a few years ago, that immediately lit the fire of, the speculation and the rumors of it's only a matter of time until AJ shows up, right? So I think at that point, you could kind of see that the anticipation was kind of there. And obviously, fast forward to years later, and you see how Punk's return here in WWE has gone over, right? And I think him being there and having the ability to rebuild his relationship with the company, and not only rebuild the relationship, but really honestly become one of the true leaders there for the next generation that's upcoming. I just think it's just such a really great opportunity. So with her coming in now, yes, was it something we kind of saw coming? Just with especially particularly with a Clash in Paris, when Becky hit him with the low blow, and then obviously we see her and him face to face on Raw last week. Of course, yes. But the moment that started, you could feel an energy building up on social media. And you knew that this was hook, line, and sinker. And, the whole thing with somebody tweeting WWE Shop and their replies and again, them knowing, I just think, people forget too, she hasn't completely been away from professional wrestling. She's been involved in WoW. I think she did commentary. She may have even been a part owner. She may still be. I'm not 100% sure.
Yeah, I think she had some involvement of some kind, like an ownership or investment or something
Yeah.
like that. Yeah.
Yeah, so she was, she was an important role with WoW Women of Wrestling, and for anybody who watched Heels on Stars, which is now you can stream on Netflix, she was a big part of season 2. So I just think that the anticipation was there, and a lot of times we feel like we want something and they tease it to us, and then we don't get it, and the internet goes ballistic, right? And whether it's a swerve or it's a letdown. To have one of those instances where you get the payoff to, the tease and the build that's been going on. And honestly, Becky has been so freaking good on the mic as of late. I mean, I have been very vocal that I have not always been a fan of heel Becky. At times I felt like it was forced. Particularly the last run of was it Big Time Bex? It just got real weird to me. It became, she dressed like female Seth with like the goofy, like it was almost like the Powerline sunglasses from Goofy movie and stuff.
Yeah.
Just got a little bit off for me. It felt very forced. In this instance, particularly with how Seth's character is going and how that entire faction, for lack of a better, or for all intents and purposes, has been really, she's just seamlessly kind of transitioned into this. And to not go back to the well and have the Rhea Ripleys and the Io Skies and whoever else you want to throw in there, the Baileys, and to have the payoff that we wanted. So it's believable. It's husband and wife versus husband and wife. This isn't the Miz and Maurice versus John Cena and Nikki Bella. Like, this is two married couples that are very well in the public eye and have an established relationship that the heat and the tension is so believable. And we talk about this, Eric. This program is going to WrestleMania. So this really does buy you, give or take, a month of programming to get you to that point, right? Before we hit the Survivor Series stride. So I'm very excited to see where this goes. She also has signed some sort of a contract. We don't know the details.
Yeah, the reports are that it is a multi-year deal, which you think about, like, who would have saw that coming even a few years ago, especially with him being in AEW. Who would have saw, in 2025, looking at like 2023 lenses, that you would see not just CM Punk back, but AJ Lee as well. And I want to talk about Becky real quick. You brought up, how great her heel stuff has been recently. I mean, if you just look at the way it was kind of just like old school chicken shit heel stuff, which was awesome. Like yelling at the audience and just her mannerisms in the ring and her eyes and just like that chicken shit stuff that is just like so classic in nature that, it's a lost art that that a lot of talent don't have. And I think and she's done a really good job of egging on the crowd. Everybody's talking about it. Even Sports Illustrated's talking about it. It's like she's really digging in. And she's doing it.
Promo, Eric, she's pulling it in there.
Yes, yeah. And she makes a point of it, and it gets more annoying every time. But it's that heel annoying. It's perfect heat. And I mean, she got booed out of the building last night. It was great. And she's done such a nice job. Because AJ Lee's back, yeah, the big baby face, but you have to have that heel dance partner to work with, and for it to make it watchable and to make it appealing to the fans. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to seeing that match at WrestlePalooza. I'm sure AJ Lee, I mean, she looks like she did in 2015. She hasn't aged a bit. And I'm sure clearly she stayed in shape of one way, shape, or form. But that's one thing, staying in shape. But that wrestling shape, we'll see how it goes with this first match. But I'm sure it won't take long for her to get back get back in those Chuck Taylors, I would say. And it's gonna be really fun. And to your point as well, it's somebody different at the top. It's a different match. And again, that Intercontinental title means much more than the women's world title. We can talk about that if we have time, but you know how I feel about that stuff. But I mean, it's been fantastic work by Becky, and I'm excited to see what happens.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, obviously the Intercontinental title on Becky is something that's been really tremendous to see, building the secondary title. I'd like to see them do a little better job with the U.S. title. Chelsea Green, I thought, was doing a tremendous job.
Yeah.
But again, to see the work that she's doing with the Intercontinental title and to work with somebody like, Lyra Valkyria, who I have been a big support of. I think Lyra has so much talent. The personality needed to be there. And I'm intrigued, I'm not going to get sidetracked on this. You're starting to see something now where I'm curious. Now I'm interested in what is happening with her and Bayley and what is going to be with this character coming up of Bayley, this iteration. But that's a lot of that is Becky, right? Becky, they did this. We talked about this, Eric. They did this, what they did at WrestleMania with Becky a few years ago, where she comes back, ends up basically stealing the title from Bianca Belair, because no time to prepare. She's shocked. Becky's back. And then like a day later, she turns heel. Well, we saw the same thing here. She makes this huge return. She comes back at WrestleMania, teams with Lyra, and then we see. So it's almost like I was not a fan of that. So I felt like they were like, okay, I think we know how we can redo this, hit the reset button on this. But really, particularly with where Seth is at right now, really throw some gasoline on this and do it the right way and get a reprieve. So I just think it's very exciting. Brian Daly, appreciate the comments coming in. I see Ernie Charles over on X. He gave us a repost to the stream. Appreciate you, brother.
Thanks,
Brian
man.
Daly.
Appreciate it.
Brian Daly, he said what's up to us, and he says, going to agree to the poll even if it's not a long-term deal. Again, Brian, which it is. We don't know if it's a limited date deal. I imagine it will be. But we don't have the full details, but it is multi-year. We do know that. She could be good with helping the women, especially the younger talent, getting even better than they are.
Yep. So
go ahead.
Oh God, sorry. No, speaking of the younger talent, I mean, there's definitely opportunity. I mean, there's already built-in stories that they can do with Roxanne Perez, for example, who, there's pictures floating on social media of Roxanne meeting her 10, 12 years ago. Yes. And now it can come full circle to where they could team up together. I mean, Liv Morgan's coming back at some point. So there could be something where she comes back to Judgment Day, Roxanne gets the boot, and then I need a partner against Raquel and Liv. You got a tag team match right there. That would be great.
No. You watched NXT. You saw the promo that she cut on Punk, where she talked about how he was one of her idols or heroes. He met her, and then she basically said, like, never meet your idols. He sucks, this and that. Yeah. So what you do here is you turn Liv face, and you have Liv come in and have her recruit AJ to be your tag team partner to go against. And then obviously then you can play off of that to, and Roxanne is tremendous.
Yeah.
She has not even scratched the surface on the main roster yet. Her promo skills are so good. And what she could do, because she did it quite a bit in NXT, to bring a similar vibe as that and talk about how we met and you were one of my idols, but then you were a diva and I'm a woman and I've been a woman's champion. You were just a Divas champion and I've done more than you and blah, blah, blah. You do stuff like that.
Yeah.
But what is exciting about this is there was good talent at that time. when she was with the company 10 years ago. You had Paige, you had some of the Bellas. You had some decent talent at that point. But what is exciting is this was still the Divas era. She missed it by literally like a year or two. And everybody said, can you imagine if she stuck it out for another year or two? The matches she could have had with Charlotte, Becky, Bayley, Sasha, who's not with the company anymore, but Sasha was thrown in that conversation. Can you imagine the matches you would have? Now, along with her, they are all basically the leaders of this with a incredible roster of females. And we talk about it all the time. Listen, I think that TNA for many years had an amazing knockouts division. They still do. They've always been one of the standards of pro wrestling, and they've never been talked about because their distribution just hasn't been there. But I find it so hard now when you look at that WWE. Like, I like Toni Storm. I think Mercedes can be tremendous. I don't love her character, but she could be tremendous, especially in the ring. Dude, the worst woman on WWE's roster should be a world champion in every other company, and it's not even a question.
Yeah, and I think you're starting to see in AEW, just real quick, is the challengers are starting to become, few and far between. They've kind of gone through most of the division, so it's kind of tough to see who these challengers are going to be coming up. But WWE, there's really not a problem there. And another thing, real quick, I saw an interview with Natty a couple days ago talking about what AJ did for the women's locker room while she was there. She was one of the ones that spoke up when, those of you that were watching in 2012, 2010, 2012,
3-minute matches,
would get
entrance
like 2
to bell.
3-minute matches, right?
Entrance to bell.
Yeah. Yep. Including getting to the ring, ding, ding, we got to get our stuff in. And then that's it. So she was one of the ones that spoke up. Hey, like, we need more time. Like, give us some more time. And it wound up getting to the point where, where we're at right now. So she credited AJ if she wasn't one of the vocal ones at the time, because Natty said she wasn't. She was too scared for her spot. She admittedly so. She was, timid and didn't want to say anything. But AJ was like, you know what? I'm gonna say something because I think it's going to be for the betterment. Maybe not for me, maybe so, but also for the rest of the talent. And clearly, the women are getting just as much, if not more, of the TV time on both Raw and SmackDown and NXT. So clearly it had to start somewhere, and Natty was quick to credit AJ for being a part of that foundation.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. Again, she was in an era where, you had the Eve Torreses and you had really good talent, and Natty and Beth Phoenix was involved at that time. There was a good roster.
Yeah.
But it's never been at the level that it is now.
Oh, no, definitely not.
And it's been said about her. I'm glad that Mickey got a chance a couple of times to come back and kind of get in there with some of the younger talent. And I think this is an opportunity for her. It's hard to say. I would consider her already a borderline Hall of Famer for WWE. But this is like the rebirth, right? This is like Brock when he was young. And then he goes away for 10 years. And then he comes back. Well, I think he left in 2004 after WrestleMania 20. And then in 2012, 8 years later, he's an older guy. He comes back and had a rebirth of his career. And I think that this is an opportunity for her to cement her legacy and prove. And I don't think there's many doubters out there, but there is some that I have seen. It's an opportunity for her to come in and prove that she wasn't a big fish in a small pond at that time. She could have gotten in there with anybody then, and she can get in there with anybody now. And again, to what you said, she is in tremendous shape. She is very involved in fitness. And you already know, anytime any of these people come back, Eric, there's a program to get them ready to rock and roll.
Yeah.
And I'm sure she has gone through it. I like what Brian said here too, by the way. That would be a good storyline, especially since he believes Liv and AJ have some of the same mannerisms and ways. Particularly the early Liv, where she would do kind of the skip around and certain things.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, no, I mean it definitely would be a cool storyline.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to be very interested to see how this goes. So well, let's go a little further into that portion of this, Eric. You know, we know what we have coming. We have a tag team match. I'm very excited for this. And I love that as much of this Punk and Seth storyline has been at the forefront of the company for the last year and a half, almost 2 years, these two women are almost the headliner of this whole thing. And those guys are the supporting cast of this. And I'm loving that they're taking that approach where you can advance the storyline between Seth and Punk, but you don't have to have it where it's, you know, fatigue of jamming it down our throats. Like, you can let them kind of, it's almost like they were the two guys that like kind of dropped the dynamite in, lit the fuse, and then kind of stepped back and let the fireworks go. But anyway, yeah. Looking forward, what programs are we excited to see? You know, who do you think is an ideal? And we're going to go aside from Becky. Who do you look at? Give me like two people who you look at that could be ideal opponents or dream opponents. Let's do that. Give me an ideal opponent and give me someone who you kind of look at that like it would kind of be a dream match to see, you know, her and AJ go up against each other.
The Liv Morgan one is very intriguing. What Brian was saying, because I think they can both capture the audience in a way that's, you know, unique to some of the talent that's currently there. I mean that's really hard. Charlotte Flair would be very interesting. A heel Charlotte Flair. I mean, Alexa Bliss would be a good one. You could, I mean, there's a lot of them.
See, I'm hesitant on the Charlotte one. Not that I don't think the matches would be tremendous. I would want to see her get a little bit under her belt first, because I want to see AJ at peak comfort in the ring when she's ready for that to get the maximum level out of that. But B, I don't want to see heel Charlotte right now. I'm loving face Charlotte, although we haven't seen them on television as much lately. Obviously, they're focused on WrestlePalooza and getting those programs over. So I expect that we're going to see more of those women coming up. But I just don't want to go back that route, Eric. We've been so happy.
I don't know if
with where we've gotten to. Well, you said a heel Charlotte.
Yeah, I did, but you don't have to go to that. I mean, you can kind of be the way that she is right now, where, you know, she's got the same mannerisms, and, you know, is working as a face. I mean, you could eventually, I'm sure you're going to turn AJ heel down the road. I mean, there's so many matches that you can do, though. Like, I think that's the point, is there's really so much that you can do. But I mean, clearly, I think she's going to want to go in there with some of the horsewomen. You know, the ones that are here are probably the ones that she's going to want to work with. I mean, she's been watching for the last 10 years, and probably part of her has been like, what could it be? What could it have been? I mean, you heard her promo, last night. She never thought she was going to come back. She thought she did everything that she possibly could during her tenure, that she did everything, and her goals were achieved, and she was done. Now she's got a clean slate, like you said, and now she's looking back over probably these last 10 years where this women's division has evolved. I mean, they had the Divas title when she was there. Now they've got the world title, they've got the WWE women's title, they got Intercontinental, US, like NXT has evolved. There's so many different things that she can do that she hasn't done yet. So it's an opportunity for her to get in the ring with some of these big names. I mean, I think if anybody can pull it off, it would be Charlotte and AJ. They'd figure it out one way or the other. They're both pros. So I think, do I think, like I said, there's a lot of different ways that you could go. There's a lot of different, matchups. And that's what's so great about it.
If I'm going size, and I'm just looking at size, athletic ability, who I think is somebody very different than we've ever seen AJ get in the ring with, and I think would be a challenge. She would rise to the occasion. Clearly be B-Fab. No. No, I would love to see her and EO.
Oh, yeah.
I think, at that time when AJ was involved with WWE, you didn't really have a lot of the high flyers on the women's side. And to see EO and the way she works and puts on absolute classics with anybody of any size, of any athletic ability. I just think about if we can get to a point in the next 6 months to get to a semi close to what peak AJ was. Again, we know there's 10 years removed. My Lord, that's my dream, and I think ideal matches. I would die for a program with EO Sky and really see what kind of highlighting AJ could do with a talent like that.
I don't think there's bad matchups. Too much on the card. I mean, besides, I think she'd get a match out of B-Fab too. To be perfectly honest with you, I don't think.
I agree.
Yeah, peak AJ Lee. I think will be. And I think she's still young enough to go. She wouldn't be coming back if she didn't think that she could do it. Clearly she thought that she did everything she could accomplish, and now there's another opportunity, and she doesn't want to tarnish that by coming back and being half of what she was. She wouldn't. I don't think she would even consider coming back if she didn't think that she could be better, if just as much, if not better than what she was.
Yeah, I think that's my top two.
Okay.
Liv is the third. Charlotte eventually. Listen, we all know we want to see we want to see Charlotte, Becky, and Bayley. It was just such a close cutoff at that point, and all of their own ways they innovated what women's wrestling is now, where they're not just women superstars; they are their superstars of their own right. They're all pioneers, and that to me is an obvious. So I don't say Charlotte. I'm telling you, give me EO, give me Roxanne too, and then give me Liv. Ooh, that's a hell of a way to start. That would be a hell of a way to start. Even Kyrie. Like, if you want to get a Raw match.
Oh, yeah. Asuka? Yeah, we didn't bring up Asuka.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, Asuka right now is, I don't know what the hell that is. I don't even want to get into that this week. I am, and I am the biggest Asuka fan you'll find. I don't know. It's weird. She's not allowed to have friends that aren't, I don't know. I don't even want to go down that road. That's how the story portrays. I don't know if that's the intention, but it's coming off that way. Anyway, yeah, this is just a really exciting for WWE. And the promo on Raw, obviously we talked about it. Really, really good. Love the honesty. It was like a working shoot.
Yeah.
And for people to know this is coming, and I got to tell you, Eric, I ran it back multiple times to watch the crowd reaction the moment that music hits it. And light it up, light it up. I mean, they became unglued. Like, I don't think it was quite as loud because it was a smaller venue. But I felt like it was reminiscent to when the Hardys came back at WrestleMania 33. And that's one of the, between that and when Austin's glass hit during the Mankind victory over The Rock on Raw, probably the 3 biggest pops I've ever seen. This is up there, man. It was pretty big.
It was. I wouldn't put it that high, but it was good. It was a
go back and watch
very
the crowd,
solid
though.
promo.
I'm talking about just
very
return.
solid. Reaction.
If you go back and watch that crowd, I mean, everybody in unison just blows up out of their seats. It was wild. I'm telling you. Watched it a few times.
Imagine if that was in overseas. I think it would be. They would have probably blew the roof off the place.
Yeah.
If they did it in Paris the night after Clash in Paris. But I mean, it made sense to do it in Chicago, of course. But
of course, absolutely.
Yeah.
So moving on, obviously we know what we're going to be getting. We'll be previewing Wrestlepalooza and All Out next week. So make sure you guys tune in. We'll be around our regular scheduled time of sometime between 6 and 6:30 next Tuesday. So make sure you guys come back and join us for that. John Cena's final SmackDown appearance. Get a really good match with Sami Zayn. Love the tie-ins. Love the legacy of Sami wanting to carry over the U.S. title open challenge. And having that impromptu match, right? Because, we talked about the names of people that John Cena didn't get to have a match that at this iteration we would like to have seen. And I don't know that Sami was necessarily on my list, but I'm glad I got it now. I know we didn't get it.
Yeah.
And I'm okay with that at this point because we know where we're heading. But just to see, again, I don't know if it's like one of those things where Eric, that like you're on your last leg, so you're going to give it all that you got, and you just elevate yourself to a level that you haven't been able to get to in years for that last push. It's like Toby Keith said, right? I'm not as good as I once was, but I'm as good once as I ever was. It's like we're getting the best of Cena in the back in ring on the back end of this, and he's hanging with some amazing talent. He looks tremendous. Hair's really growing in well too, by the way. But just so your thoughts on it, and obviously we get the Brock attack at the end of this to set up Wrestlepalooza. We knew it was coming, but I just want your thoughts on it. This exchange with Sami, the impromptu match, the level he's at, this and that. Give me your thoughts on all that.
I have to agree. Definitely was a really good segment and a nice little tie-in to their match 10 years ago. I think it was about 10 years ago or so.
Isn't this the same match that Sami was so pumped he threw his arms up and tore his rotator?
Yep, that's exactly right. And Bret Hart was the one who announced him he was the one who announced Sami Zayn to the ring, which was really cool. But I like his homage in the matches and doing what he did, the ankle lock, he did an ankle slam. So I think he's taking everything out of the tank. It's like Rocky Balboa, where he's got something left inside. He's got to get it out. He's getting everything out in his last few months, and he's delivered. This is the third match now. The last 3 that he's really done well. I will say, I'm a bit curious how the match with Brock's gonna go, and I don't think it's due to Cena. I mean, Brock hasn't been in a match since Cody at SummerSlam a few years ago, and I'm sure he's been hunting and fishing and being a butcher and all that stuff. So I mean, if anybody can do it, it's probably him. He's just a freakish athlete, but I'm hopeful that this match is going to deliver just as well as these other ones, but I'm cautiously optimistic because, and I'm thinking this is probably going to be like a slugfest, kind of similar to their match at Extreme Rules, when Brock returns. So if they can do it that way, I think it'll be good. But I wouldn't, I'm cautiously optimistic. I'm hopeful the match will be good, but because there's so much momentum and such good work by Cena over the last few matches that I'd hate to see it kind of take a step back, and not because of him, but because of his because of who he's in the ring with and who the story who he's in there with.
I think it's going to be. Listen, it's not going to be the Matt Classics that we've seen. This is going to, we're seeing all phases of John Cena at this point. So I think this is going to be a knockdown, drag out brawl. Plain and simple. Am I wrong? Didn't he do one of Christopher Daniels' moves?
He did. He did like a winged angel. He did something to that effect.
Right.
Yeah.
Which again, I don't know. So again, we're talking about all these really cool things that we're seeing. We see him, we're seeing him do Canadian destroyers and everything else. So the thing is, like, a lot of people don't know this, and again, it's why this is where it's good to be a like really deep wrestling fan. Is Christopher Daniels is one of John Cena's earliest trainers.
Yeah, those little Easter eggs.
It was 100%. Like, a lot of people are like, oh man, cool move, but it's an Easter egg of John paying homage to some of the people that got him to where he is. So, yeah, I mean, you got to really pay attention to a lot of this stuff. But I agree. I think the match is going to be what it's going to be. All Brock matches are that way. And I don't expect this to be and I'm okay with that. Let this be a brawl and let these guys destroy each other. And I'm like I said, I'm 100% for that.
Another nitpicky thing that I'm a little little bothering me about this whole thing is, why is he back and why is he attacking Cena? Is he and hopefully we hear from Brock. I think we heard one little thing online where he's like, I'll see you at WrestlePalooza, and that was really it. But we haven't gotten the why did you attack Cena? What are you trying to do? I mean, clearly he's probably trying to be a detour on this retirement tour. But I think it would be good to hear it from the person himself, unless WWE is leery to put him out on a promo and having him explain himself, and get
which is possible.
Which is definitely possible. But I think, for me to get fully, I mean, clearly it's going to be it's a good match, of course. But why is Brock? What are his intentions in story? I mean, you and I, of course, we kind of know because we've been watching and we're wrestling nerds. But for the casual fan, why did he attack John Cena? Why is he doing this? Why did he come back and is going derail John Cena? No explanation. So I think maybe we hear from him on Raw next week. I think Cena's advertised on Raw. Maybe we don't. Maybe we don't hear from him. But it's just one of those things where it's like, maybe they think it's writing itself, but
maybe he's Rock's sent enforcer to get back at Cena for not carrying out the mission.
I think that for me the ship has sailed on Dwayne.
Oh, I agree, but it wouldn't shock me if that ends up being the end game here.
I mean,
and The Rock
I would love it.
His mouthpiece.
Oh, I would love it, but seeing the way Rock looks right now, and I found out, he's doing it for another movie where he's lost a considerable amount of weight. People have seen, the pictures online of him at the premiere of his new movie, which I can't wait to see. It looks
very.
phenomenal.
They're talking Oscar nomination.
Yeah. I mean, Yeah, he gets a bad rep for Tooth Fairy and some of the other ones he's done. But I think this one is going to be his best by far, and hopefully that'd be awesome if he got recognized. You could have Oscar-winning actor on the TKO board and the final boss. Imagine that him coming the final boss and Oscar award winning. That would be that'd be just another thing for him to brag about. But yeah, I'm looking forward to that match. I think Wrestlepalooza seems to be shaping up pretty well. I think there's definitely some intrigue in those two matches that we talked about.
So let's do this. Just in case I have to mute again, I can at least give you something to run on here. Freaking annoying dogs. All right.
Oh, mine's right here. Mine's right here.
I normally have somebody here, but I didn't expect, obviously for us to
Yeah.
show. So I have 4 dogs, guys. So
We'll do it
I really try my best. We're live, pal.
Yeah.
Doing my best. Hey, we're live, pal. Shout out to RIP to our boy.
Yes, City
A2D alumni, first superstar interview we ever had on here. Psycho said. Go back and check it out on the archives. Yeah, I'll send it to you.
Awesome.
Now, it wasn't visual. This is back when we were in studio.
That's all right.
So he called in, but we got like an hour and like 15-minute interview. It was awesome.
Oh, that's awesome.
And he's a great dude. Anyway, so yeah, let's get back to where we were here.
Cool.
Usos reunited here. Kind of burying LA Knight here as well.
You know how I feel about that.
Or are we? I don't know. But your thoughts on obviously where we're at with this. I'm very excited, by the way, also. I don't want it to be like a long-term, like, okay, we got our run with Jay. Now we're going back. You notice they introduced them differently. It's Jimmy Uso and main event Jay. So it's not the Uso. They are introducing them as individuals, which I am all for. Talk about them being one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I don't want this to be a long-term thing. But we got a couple comments in here too. But I am very excited for this. So I do want to get your thoughts. And he said, is it though? Extreme Rules was, but Suplex City, I'm saying not so much.
Oh, yeah. The Cena Lesnar. Yeah, I mean, I guess in a way they feel, like I said, that it writes itself and there's probably no explanation needed. I mean, if I were to guess, we're probably not going to hear from Brock. I think it's just going to be action moving forward as he's done. The previous 2 run-ins that he's done. So it wouldn't shock me if we never get an explanation. It's just his actions that are doing the talking. But
this is an interesting take here by Pete. Pete, our boy Pete, who does Film Don't Lie. And he comes on with us sometimes. Pete, I need to get you on here in the next couple of weeks.
Yeah.
Because I need to have this we need to have this conversation with you. I don't see it. But Pete sees things in a very, I don't say different in a bad way. We look at wrestling differently, which is great. That's what makes great conversation.
Yeah.
So I want Pete to come on. If you hear me out there, buddy. Next few weeks, I want you to come on with me and Eric, and we want to have a discussion on how we're going to get there where this can work. If you think that's going to happen, how do they make it work? How do they get there, and how do they make it work? Start doing your homework and booking it now. But your thoughts, Eric? So, go ahead. Sorry. Buddy.
No, all good. So, I'm not with you on this Uso thing. I think it's kind of just I hope it's short term because I mean I just don't see the appeal right now of seeing them back together. I get why they are, they're defending Roman, Roman's out in storyline, and they want to get back at the Vision. But I don't, unless they plan for the Vision to go over and they pin Jimmy, and then it continues the story. I just don't see there being much value to this match, except for to get Braun and Bronson over against the greatest tag team the WWE's ever had, as far as the championships of that nature. But back to LA Knight, you know how I feel about LA Knight. I just don't know. They're going to have to do something to Pete's point. Is somebody going to turn heel? Because Jay super kicked Knight last night. Jay's not turning heel. He's too over right now. I don't see that. I don't see that happening. But LA Knight's over as well, so something's got to give.
I just don't know why we even had to get to this point. Like, why? Like, I get it. And listen, the reality is, sometimes in life, two good people just don't get along and don't like each other, and I'm okay with that too. But we don't. Why do we? Why? And why do we need this program now?
Yeah.
Why do they what are they leading us to? And do I really feel like I need this now? I'll say this though, Eric. This is why I think this is a good move with the Usos. I believe that we're heading towards Braun and Bronson capturing the tag team titles. And to build more stock in these guys, they take Roman out. They take down the Usos, one of the greatest tag teams of all time. I think this kind of leads their march to the tag team titles. And again, the Usos are individuals now, so as a tag team, they're a legendary tag team, but they can take the loss and they'll be fine. They'll go about their singles runs that they're doing now. But it's still a great notch to put under Braun and Bronson.
In our chat, I've been saying that for weeks about they should put the tag team titles on Braun and Bronson. You're not doing anything with them right now on Raw. Who are the champions? Judgment Day?
Judgment Day.
Exactly. Like, all the tag teams basically are on SmackDown right now. They're doing a pretty good job there. But, Raw has been kind of just absent. They're Finn and JD are in singles matches half the time. So it's a good opportunity to build them and build the tag team titles at the same time. I also said this, I think what Raw is really missing right now is, WWE talks a lot about this wow and surprise element. Like, hey, we want to get a viral moment. Hey, we want to get likes on YouTube and views and all this stuff. What better way to get views than to have a surprise title switch on Monday Night Raw? Like, how long has it been since we've had a surprise world title win by a babyface on Monday Night Raw? I can't even remember the last time it was. Like, you've got how many months till WrestleMania? Clearly, we don't think Seth's losing the title anytime soon. And clearly, he's in a program with CM Punk right now. But, there's got to be some surprise element that things are missing. Like, Raw, as of late, has just seemed to be kind of cookie cutter. You have your promo at the beginning. You have your stuff with Asuka and Kyrie and Io. And then you have your segment with Becky. And then you have your match with El Grande Americano and Penta and Rusev and Sheamus. And thankfully, they gave Penta a different opponent. But he lost to Rusev last night.
Not pumped about how he's been booked.
No. But just saying, like, there needs to be more of a surprise element on Raw specifically, because it's just same old. So, like, that's why I don't think I'm as invested in this Usos versus Vision match, because it's been the same stuff every week. You added Jimmy Uso into it. Kind of how that came about in Paris. He ran in and Braun and Bronson just walked away. Why'd they walk away? They don't think they can handle Jimmy Uso together? Like, just talking like in storyline, but it's kind of just like it's kind of thrown together just to have something. But going back to my point, I think a month ago you could have had LA Knight win the World Heavyweight title, gotten a huge pop, gotten huge views on social media, and then he drops the title a week or two later to Seth Rollins, and you don't hurt Seth Rollins at all. But you got somebody over. Now you got LA Knight who's just floundering, and he just lost clean to Bronson Reed. I mean, that's probably your second or third top babyface on Raw, and what are you doing with him? It's just, I just don't understand what they're doing with this guy. They moved him over to Raw. He wasn't doing anything on SmackDown. He's clearly over. Like, and it's been like that for a few years with him. So it's like, do they turn him heel? Like, what do you do with him? He's such a good athlete. He's so good on the mic. Like, it's frustrating, to see, like, because I'm an LA Knight guy. I'm an LA Knight mark, and I want to see, like, I think he should have been world heavyweight champion already. It doesn't need to be a long reign. Give him it for 2 weeks. What's the harm in that?
Yeah, I see the argument both ways. There's an element of like the 80s and the early 90s with long-term storytelling, and guys like Hogan and other guys held the title for 9 months to 3 years. It was pretty much almost every title run, right? I missed a lot of that, but it was also a time of long-term storytelling. They have so many titles at this point that, first of all, the reality is if you fight every week, you're not winning every fight. Like, I've made the argument that our buddy Nick makes, but I've been making the argument for many years until I kind of started to come around after Roman's run of I see the value and the kind of the nostalgia of what it's like to have a long-term champion. But I've always said, like, I don't understand how, like, this is, like, I know we got to suspend belief, but, like, you can lose every match. And then suddenly you're a bad guy and you don't lose a match for a year and a half. Then you find yourself and your morals and you're like, you know what, this kid just got to my heart. And then you lose every match again. It makes no sense. It's just not logical. Like, it's like Cena now, right? It's like, okay, are we going to have Cena start dropping? Like, we talked about, right?
Like, he was, like, before he was losing to, he lost to Austin Theory, he lost to Solo. Now he's Super Cena again, and having these great matches. But it's like that wrestling logic that kind of just doesn't make sense in real life. But I think too, like, it's just for me as somebody who, like, I'm gonna watch the product anyway. But are people who are watching it, just starting to watch it on Netflix, and they're seeing the same thing every week. After a while, it's like, why am I watching this? Like, what value am I getting from watching the same guys come out every week, seeing Seth Rollins and the Vision just dominate everybody?
It's everything though, Eric. It's all of them. I get like, this is the typical heel behavior, but I don't like. Here's common sense. You guys are like, we're seeing the same. I love Bronson and I like Braun. I kind of like what they're doing. There's elements of it where I'm like kind of bored with it. At the same time, like, show me a dynamic. So, like, they do what they do, right? And then Pierce says, "You guys are banned from ringside." Okay, so how about let's go to the Judgment Day, right? So how about let's make it simple. Every week, you're a champion. If you interfere, we have cameras rolling and we see it. If you get anywhere near there, you are stripped of your title. No questions asked. No, like, that's where I'm being like literal, but sometimes I need the literal.
Yeah.
Like, instead of we're seeing the same thing every time, and it's like do you guys like? It's almost like you make your referees look like they're the biggest morons in the world, and you make all your faces look like the biggest idiots in the world.
Yeah, it's kind of insulting your intelligence where it's like, yeah, like LA Knight last night. He's like, I don't need anybody. I'm gonna go out there by myself.
Like, okay, buddy, you can't do that.
Like that's really gonna work for you in a 2-on-1 situation. Like, just because you don't have anybody out there doesn't mean that Bronson, you know what? I'm gonna give LA Knight a break. Bron, you stay back. I'm gonna take this on my own. Like it's in wrestling
bizarre.
logic, it just didn't make a lot of sense. And then Jey Uso left the building, and then all of a sudden, oh, I'm back. I decided not to leave. Like things like that are just kind of just like you just shake your head, and it's like, what are we doing? And I do appreciate Jay, kicking LA Knight in the way that it's like, you know what, like I don't have to be your friend. We're going after the same title. Like I'm not going to do you any favors. Like I can appreciate that.
And well, that's common sense.
That finally a little sprinkle of common sense. But to what point, now LA Knight, not only did he lose the match, but then he got kicked in the face, and now where's he go from there? So we'll see what happens. Like the next thing would be, are you turning him? And I think Pete brought up a good point. Like somebody is eventually going to be like, I'm sick of getting beat up every week. I'm going to join these guys because I'm sick of getting my ass kicked every week. So, but that's like the logic that we're trying to explain, where it's like, is WWE, is the writing team thinking that same logic? Sometimes it doesn't seem that way, and I think sometimes that gets lost probably in that weekly writing. You see it on paper, and the way it's executed is 1A and 1B. So it's like, what are you gonna get? But I think right now too, it's tough because you've got Seth, but he's in another program, so you really don't have anybody else there, heel or babyface wise, that's like stepping up to not having Roman is hurting a little bit. And I think right now I think everybody's just anticipating that. That's why you bring up like Seth, like you said it last week or the week before, we'll see Seth losing the title to WrestleMania. So what do you do between there? Like what's wrong with, hey, like he messes up one night, something happens, and we get a new champion, and then, all right, I'm going to get a rematch, and I get it back 2 weeks later. No harm, no foul, and you get more heat by doing that.
I think what the logic needs to be, if we're going to go long-term main title holders, then there needs to be, and I always felt like this is the purpose of it. Your secondary titles can carry periods of time.
Yeah.
Particularly with how deep the rosters out are, you have former world champions carrying some of these secondary titles. So
remember, I'm sorry. Now remember, like back in the day, like the top guys would wear the tag team titles, and then they would start a feud with each other. Like it was like those tag titles were used for that exactly. Sorry, go ahead.
No, just saying though. I mean, that's to me is the simple solution. I have no problem if you're going to run Seth and you're going to run Cody to Mania. No problem. Then if this is what the solution is, then we need to emphasize the United States title, the tag team titles, and the Intercontinental title more. And again, what we're seeing with the women's now, I feel like their main titles are kind of in flux. But you know what, Eric? To the point, what has happened has happened. Your women's world champion got pregnant and is gone. Whether we agree with how they're getting to where they're getting to, right? We're going to remove that. What are they doing? They are featuring the Intercontinental title to show an emphasis on that title and allowing that title to be the carrier, the driving force of the women's division while that title is currently vacated. And it's working. It's incredibly working. I mean, you had AJ Lee steal the title and walk out with it around her waist. You've got the visual of what AJ Lee, a former Divas champion, legend, future Hall of Famer, would look like with that title on. That's not by accident. So that is what we need to see with the men's side. I don't mind what they're doing with Seth and what they're going to be doing with Cody. Obviously, we know Cody is out because he had a baby, which was crazy that nobody even knew that was happening. Just one day, it's like, hey,
yep,
congratulations to them, by the way.
yeah,
But
congratulations.
I do believe that is what the solution is. I think that they need to emphasize that stuff. So, anything for the final cause here, Eric? Before we jump off, we've had a great show. We didn't even expect to have a show today. Let me see here. Now you tease it as the guy in question on the Bayface War Games team. There you go.
Yeah, Dynasty. Thank you for the comments. Yeah, I think that's a good way to you've seen it before. The old school WCW War Games. You have somebody do the nice little turn, and the Horsemen were notorious for that. And you could do that easily in that type of match. So yeah, good stuff.
Yeah. Anything for the cause before we jump off of here?
No, thanks everybody for jumping on and listening to us. Definitely like and subscribe. Chrome and I are trying to get popular. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
We already are. No, we're already over.
Damn it.
I'm over, damn it. But no, just wanted to bring it. We haven't been on since we didn't talk about our night at AEW, and I just want to shout out. It was good to get out to 2300 Arena and experience and see the building for the first time in a long time for me. And it was a good night to catch up with friends and see. It was a good show. We dig a little at AEW because we care, but they did put on a really nice show and a nice tribute to Taz. And I think they're done their residency this week. So looks like it's been a success, which is great. And that's it. But yeah, thanks everybody for joining us. And I know next week we'll talk more about Wrestlepalooza and All Out. Like Chrome said, it's going to be a fun weekend coming up on the 20th of September. Get ready.
Yeah, AEW was awesome. Just to kind of touch on that a little bit, Eric, before we do hop off. Since we dove into it, you said you have the building in a while. First time really checking out AEW. Just kind of what were your thoughts on the presentation, the layout? I can tell you, if anyone hasn't been there, first of all, if you go on Max and you watch that first episode, so I'm going to pop a picture up here in a minute. We were right near the entranceway. So literally, I mean, almost every segment, they did that span over the aisleway, and you could see us right there.
Just look for the big guy with the Barkley jersey, Saquon Barkley jersey on, and the big fat head, and there's us right there. Yeah.
But talk about your experience getting back to the arena and what AEW was able to accomplish with all of this.
Yeah, they did a really nice job. I think that building, those that are not familiar, it holds 900 people. Doesn't hold a lot of people, but they maximized the space. And on TV, it looked like you were it looked like a regular show. They did a really nice job with the setup. I think utilizing the space for what they had. If you've seen their promos in the back, they're doing it under the overpass and using the outside space as much as possible, because there's really not a lot of space to utilize there. So I think they've done a really nice job of capitalizing and utilizing the space that they had. And again, like I've said before, I think it's smart to do these residencies. You're not spending as much money. You're utilizing small venues. You're making it look full, and it's a perfect presentation for them. And for the audience, it was a great experience. You're up close. Had what's his face from FTR give me a nice little crotch chop at the beginning because I was and we were giving Stokely a nice little hoe treatment, but it was a lot of fun, and I know Chrome got some pictures with some of the talent, so I think we were really right there. It was good, and I think they put on a really good show, and they utilized the space. Like I said, they utilized the space adequately and very well. I had a good time.
Yeah. Obviously, they did the tribute to Taz,
Yeah.
which they were supposed to do. Which again, we weren't there, but they were supposed to do a follow up where they were going to, I guess, induct him into the building's Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Which is cool. I mean, I've been
absolutely.
there. I was there for Rob Van Dam's induction, and somebody else, I can't remember. I do remember RVD's induction. That was during Battleground Championship Wrestling. We had phenomenal seats. I was able to get a picture with Jimmy Lyon from GCW, Deathmatch Wrestler. And obviously on the way out, Excalibur, super cool guy. Got a picture of him. So just to give people this little, let me pull this comment off of here. So there's that stud right there. Look at that handsome guy.
That's all elite. That's very nice of you to say that about Nate. That's very nice. Our buddy Nate on the right.
That is our buddy Nate. Obviously, I'm repping the brand here with the Lazy Booking tank top. And this outside of the arena. We had a bunch of other pictures. I should send you some of them, Eric. I took a ton of them.
Yeah, I saw some of the ones you posted online, but
yes.
it was that was a lot of fun. It was a great crowd. They were really like, I think our night. Like I watched Dynamite last week. Our crowd was a million times better. I don't know if it was because of the talent that was involved, but you know, I maybe because it was the first night. But I think
it's a lot of that. I think the first night, the talent that was involved. I mean, they came out hot with FTR and Edge and Christian.
Yeah,
I'm not calling them CNC. I'm not calling them CNC. I'm not calling them Cope and Christian.
No.
It's when they're together, it's Edge and Christian.
Yep.
But anyway, it was just a very, very hot show. So great times had by all. We had a great time. So we look forward to coming back with you guys next week. Next week, like I said, we will be previewing Wrestlepalooza, and we will be previewing All Out. And it'll be me and Eric, and we'll see whoever else wants to join us. But yeah, I mean, Eric is my co-host at this point, so we can remove the weekly guest and basically, co-host Eric Archer of the Lazy Booking Podcast. So
let's go.
Let's go. Very exciting stuff. So that's kind of an announcement tonight. So happy to have you on board, buddy, as I am with SpecializedPhysicalTherapy.com, our Dr. Paul Vidal, Burlington, Cherry Hill, New Jersey. Find him on the web. Check him out. Get yourself situated. But thank you to everybody who commented out there. On your way out, if you haven't yet, please throw us a like, a subscribe, give us a follow, give the show a share. Throw it out there on your personal pages or in any groups that you know, people who may want to enjoy a show like this to come out and talk some wrestling. And make sure you guys come back next week, sometime between 6 and 6:30. You set your alerts. You're going to know we're coming up because you're going to get an alert 30 minutes beforehand.
Do it. Do it.
So for myself, for Eric Archer, for everybody here at A2D Radio, Hockey Guys will be back next week. But until then, we appreciate you. We love you. And tell somebody you love them. Have a good week, guys.